Hey, I'm Jason from Wild Earth, and in this video, I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why I use the raw developer Darktable. Reason number 1 is that Darktable produces better results. Now, this is somewhat arguable, but I found that in certain cases, I can get better results with Darktable compared to other raw developers. For example, sharpening. I like to sharpen my images, and I like to have a lot of control over my sharpening. Now, unlike some programs with just one slider, Darktable has over 50,000 options to sharpen your photos. So you might have to spend quite a few years learning this fine craft, but basically, you can sharpen your images pretty well in Darktable. Okay, I'm just joking about 50,000 options, but it does have a few more options than just one slider. Another thing that Darktable does pretty well is color. It has various different color tools like split toning, color zones, color calibration, and other color tools I don't really know what they do, but basically it has a lot of color tools where you can produce many creative effects with your photos. Denoising is another example where Darktable does a really good job. It has a really good default chroma denoising module, and you can remove a lot of noise from your photos. With photos up to ISO 6400, I found that Darktable does a really good job making them look really clean, and I very rarely worry about noise anymore. Darktable also has a very good local adjustment system, which means that you can make adjustments to parts of your image at a time using masks. And I really like using masks. I use multiple masks in all of my, or almost all of my image editing. So it has drawn masks and parametric masks and many different styles of masks to select parts of your image to make local adjustments. So I think that's a really cool feature of Darktable too. Reason number 2 to use Darktable is that Darktable has sharp previews. What does that mean? Well, it means that when your image is displayed on screen, then it will look exactly like it will when you export it. Now, not all RAW developers have this feature. For example, if you have ever tried Raw Therapy, which is another open source photography RAW developer, you'll see that when the entire image is displayed on screen, it looks kind of blurry. So that's like the preview image to make the program work faster or something, but basically this preview style of working is very hard to work with, and I can only really work with my image when I see what it will actually look like when I export it. So I really appreciate this feature in Darktable, and a lot of other RAW developers show you a preview, which isn't exactly what you'll see, whereas Darktable does. Reason number 3 to use Darktable. Darktable is free and open source, which means, number 1, you don't have to pay any money for it, and number 2, the source code is available so that a photographer like yourself can contribute to it. Darktable being open source also has a community feeling, so if you want to interact with its users and developers, you can just email them, and it's not like talking to a large corporation. And despite being open source, Darktable is a relatively well-designed program. It's very organized, although it takes a little bit of time to get used to it. It's a very organized program, and it's not just for amateur use either. I'm a professional photographer and I use Darktable, and I would recommend Darktable for professional use as well as amateur use. Reason number 4 to use Darktable is that Darktable does not use AI or artificial intelligence. I personally hate artificial intelligence. I think artificial intelligence is ruining photography, and it's doing too much for us. It's taking the creative process out of our hands, and so I think AI in general is very bad for photography, and I don't want to support AI, and that is why I will never pay 1 cent for an Adobe subscription, because Adobe is heavily pushing artificial intelligence, and I simply do not want to support something like that. Reason number 5 to use Darktable is that it's not a bloated program. So if you install Darktable on your computer, you're not really putting thousands of megabytes or gigabytes of program onto your computer. It's not like installing a new operating system like it is when you install Adobe Creative Cloud. It's just a small little program that you can install, and it runs on slower computers too. So it's a very lean program, and I really like that it's lean, yet it does a very good job, and it's fully functional. So those are the 5 reasons why I use Darktable. It's not a perfect program, and I admit it does take a little bit of time to get to use it, but I think it really is one of the best, if not the best, RAW developers out there. So I suggest you give it a try.